All right, everyone. Today I wanted to share with you guys some must-know info before you buy anything else off the auction house. You're going to need to know this under your belt, and it's going to be especially important as you get to the point in your account progress when you're moving a character from tier 1 to tier 2 equipment. And I'll explain a little bit more what I mean by that. I want to talk about buying equipment off of the auction house and why it's incredibly important to know which items do and do not consume and use Phaons to purchase off of the auction house. I know that's a little bit weird if you're coming from a traditional MMO like World of Warcraft or basically most other games that have an auction house. It's a very strange concept that you actually use a consumable other than the currency that you're using to make the purchase just to buy an item off the market. Nobody else is getting that Phaon. It's just like a potion. You use it when you end up making a purchase. And it's really important to know which items off the auction house use Phaons and don't, because there's a very big change that happens as you move from tier 1 to tier 2 equipment. And this is a mistake that I actually almost fell for. I almost got jebaited by the game. And if it wasn't for the fact that I tried my best to keep my Phaon balance at 0 to protect myself from this mistake, I probably would have just consumed a bunch of Phaons and I wouldn't have even realized it. So let me share with you guys this really important info here. Now, Phaons, of course, we did end up getting a bunch of them for a login reward, but I want to say those are freebies. And freebies, while they're nice, you can't really get used to them. We got 50 of these, and I'm sure that a lot of people, without really knowing it, are just using them and consuming them, purchasing stuff that probably isn't really going to be worth using a Phaon on. Now, in the future, after the freebies, these Phaons, you can end up finding them in the store. You can find them in the function tab, and you can see here that you can buy one of them for 10 blue crystals. You can buy 30 for 270 blue crystals for a 10% discount, and you can buy 100 for 850 blue crystals, which is a 15% discount. Now, I'll share with you guys a trick here in a little bit of basically what you need to do when you buy stuff off the market, or sorry, the auction house. I always get those two mixed up. What you need to do when you buy something off the auction house that consumes a Phaon to purchase is, in addition to the actual buyout price or the cost of whatever you're actually buying, you need to also calculate and know what the value and the cost of the Phaon is that you're using to make that purchase. And this will make a little bit more sense here as I explain what stuff on the auction house uses Phaons and what doesn't. So let's actually open up the auction house. And I know I mixed up market and auction house. This is something I'm probably going to end up doing accidentally going forward in the future. But just so you guys know, the auction house is where you're buying your unique equipment, ability stones, accessories, basically things that every single one has different stat rolls. Every piece of armor is going to have different stat rolls on it. They're all unique. Whereas stuff on your market, this is going to be things that are all the same, like your consumables, your enhancement honing materials, your trade skill goods, your engraving recipes. Like all of a specific engraving recipe is going to be the same with every other one. It's not like they have random stats on them like equipment. So the auction house is for unique stuff that has stat rolls on it and whatnot. Now, for tier 1 equipment, accessories, and ability stones, very importantly, the ability stones and accessories in tier 1 do not actually end up using Phaons. And this is really nice because what you can do is you can end up using the mail system to, for example, if you're running your Chaos Dungeons on your alts, you can end up mailing your accessories from your alts to your main character, dismantle them on your main, get the Harmony Shards on your main character, and it doesn't actually consume any Phaons to do this. Now, if gear ends up using Phaons to make a purchase off the auction house, it's also going to end up using a Phaon to mail it from an alt character to another character. So keep that in mind. It's another really easy thing to accidentally forget and end up consuming a bunch of Phaons without even realizing it. So if you take a look and see here, the tier 1 accessories, if you end up going to, let's just end up clicking on the buy button right here, you're going to see that it says 0 of these, and this is the icon for Phaons, 0 Phaons required upon bidding or purchasing this item. So for tier 1 accessories, and now let's go to ability stones. Same thing for tier 1 ability stones. If I end up buying this, it's the cost of buying this ability stone is just the 1 gold. And I'm saying it like that importantly because as we go to something that actually does consume a Phaon, it's a bit of a trick here. It's a bit of a new player bait. It's not the cost of actually buying something that consumes a Phaon isn't just the buyout price, right? It's also the value of the Phaon that you have to consume in order to make that purchase. And don't let the 50 free Phaons that they just gave us throw you off. That's a freebie. Don't get used to it. In the future, if you're going to be buying stuff that consumes Phaons, once the freebies run out, you're going to need to know what a Phaon is actually worth. And I'm going to show you guys that right here in a second. So if we go to gear, now the accessories and ability stones in tier 1 did not use Phaons. However, our regular equipment, our weapons, and our armor, if we go to bid buy and we try to purchase this, not only is it going to cost the 1 gold to make this purchase, it's also going to consume 1 Phaon. You can see 1 Phaon required upon bidding on purchasing bound items. Very, very important. So new player bait, you might think, well, this is a good deal. It's only 1 gold. That's super insane, but it's not really just 1 gold. It's 1 gold plus the value of a Phaon. And I'm going to share with you guys kind of like how I do it here. Keep this in mind going forward in the future. I want you guys to know how to do it yourself so that you don't have to rely on other people or me to just give you the answer. I can tell you right now, currently in the market on the Mari server, a Phaon is like approximately 10 gold each is what they're worth. So that chess piece that cost 1 gold, because it consumes a Phaon, in reality, it's more like it's an 11 gold chess piece that you're buying off the market. So how did I come up with this 10 gold number? Well, what you can do here is you can go to the market, you can go to the function tab, and you can see, even if we use the absolute cheapest price, and I always like to err on the side of caution when it comes to like, you know, the kind of examples that I give, like worst case scenario, if you end up getting 100 Phaons for 850 blue crystals, and these are blue crystals, not orange crystals. You don't have to spend real money on these. You can buy blue crystals through the exchange and just exchange gold for blue crystals at any time that you want. So 100 Phaons for 850 blue crystals, that's 8.5 blue crystals each. That's with the discount. Without the discount, they're 10 blue crystals each. But even at 8.5 blue crystals each, if you go to the currency tab, and this is going to be a bit different depending on your server, which is why I said, you know, 10 is the number right now. But if you're watching this video in a week or a month, or if you guys are playing on a different server, it could very well be a different number. What you basically want to do is you want to find out how much gold does your crystals cost. How much gold would 100 crystals cost me? And right now, at the time of making this video on the Mari server, if I were to buy 100 blue crystals, or basically 95 blue crystals, it would cost me 115 gold. So you can see it's pretty darn close to a 1-to-1 ratio of gold to blue crystals, but it's a little bit more than that. It's more like 1.2 to 1. So 1.2 gold for every 1 blue crystal. And even if we're getting Phaons at the discounted price of 850 for 100, which is 8.5 blue crystals per Phaon. You know, if you go back through and you see that blue crystals are about 1 to 1.2 gold each right now on the server. If it's 8.5 blue crystals for a Phaon, we're looking at about 10 gold. When you do the basic math, about 10 gold is the cost and the value of 1 Phaon. Now, that's on my server. I know on Europe right now, the EU servers, the exchanges are a bit different. Like, it might be 150, it might be 200, it might even be 250 gold right now on some EU servers for 100 blue crystals. If that's the case, then 1 Phaon, it's only worth more. At that point now, a Phaon is worth 15 or 20 or 25 gold. And as the game develops and as the game goes on, the value of gold to crystals is going to change, and the value of Phaons, like what they're worth, is just going to go up in gold. So you can kind of come up with these numbers depending on the server that you're on. And what you need to do is when you end up going to the auction house, when you end up buying gear, you know, if it's something that actually consumes Phaon, don't get baited by the buy now price. You know, somebody actually just bought that one for 1 gold. They might have thought it was 1 gold, but in reality, is it really 1 gold? Well, this one right here, 5 gold, but it's 5 gold plus a Phaon, and on Mari, that's approximately 10 gold each. So in reality, it's like I'm spending 15 gold worth of golden resources to make this purchase. Now, I want to mention the thing that threw me off, where I almost got super baited, and this could easily happen to a lot of you guys as well, as you make that transition from Tier 1 to Tier 2 equipment. I want to talk about Tier 2 now, because importantly in Tier 1, ability stones and accessories do not use Phaons. Gear does. Your weapons, your armors do. In Tier 2, however, that changes actually. So this is something that really threw me off. If we go to accessories here, and we go to, let's look up a Tier 2 accessory here, you'll see that if we actually try to buy a Tier 2 accessory, it does consume a Phaon. So now tier 1 accessories don't, tier 2 accessories do. Now you need to do that calculation. Basically, you need to think to yourself, well, do these accessories that use a Phaon, do they cost, is this 5 gold each? No, in reality, it's more like it's 15 gold each right now. So keep this in mind before you buy anything that requires a Phaon. So that is for accessories. If we take a look at ability stones, same thing. The tier 1 ones did not use a Phaon. The tier 2 ability stones do indeed end up using a Phaon. So don't end up making that mistake. I almost got super debated, and if it wasn't for a little trick that I like to use, you definitely don't have to do this. This is just kind of like my personal preference. I try to keep my Phaon count at 0 unless I know that I'm going to actually use a Phaon to make a purchase. I keep it at 0 here so that I protect myself from that mistake, because if it wasn't for doing this, I would have accidentally claimed stuff from the mail. I sent a whole bunch of armor and weapons from my ults to my main character. If I had a Phaon balance, I totally would have never seen that, and I would have claimed them all, and I would have consumed a bunch of Phaons without even realizing it. Or I would have bought a bunch of stuff on the market for tier 2 that consumed Phaons without even realizing it. So I just keep this balance personally at 0 myself, and when I know I want to actually buy something and make a purchase that requires a Phaon, I'll end up using one of these, and then once I'm done with the purchase, the counter is back at 0 so that I don't end up making this mistake again. Just a little thing. I just thought I would end off the video with a little tip there that I personally like to use. You definitely don't have to, but I wanted to give you guys all this info. It's incredibly important. I know this video was very, very detailed, but this is something that you really, really need to have under your belt going forward in the future. It's just critical information about the game that you need to know. So I hope this video helped out. If it did and you guys enjoyed, consider leaving a quick like. It really does mean more than you can imagine. So thank you very much to those of you guys who have done that. If you really enjoy the videos and you're looking forward to more, consider clicking the subscribe button, turning notifications on, doing all that typical YouTube mumbo jumbo stuff. It helps me out. It helps you out know when new videos come out, and I really do appreciate all the support, everyone. Thank you, thank you. And of course, if you're interested in even more content, feel free to check out the Twitch stream, twitch.tv/salt, where I'll be going live with not just Lost Ark, but other games as well. So check me out there as well. That's going to be it. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Take care. Have fun playing Lost Ark, and have a good rest of your day, evening, afternoon, wherever you are. Take it easy, and until next time.